Hello friends, and welcome to another video. So this is another painting video. So if you watched my previous one, it was highlighting blue. So today I'm going to talk about and just show how to highlight red. So I do use red because my Space Marine company is Third Company Ultramarines, so their actual colour is red, so they got the red trim on their shoulder pads, etc. So I use a lot of red and I highlight a lot of red. But today I've chosen this handsome fella to be my test subject. Now this is Wraith Guard for the Elder. So this has been just base coated. So I did all this by hand last night, and I'll go through the colours that I use. Now obviously it's just a guide. You can do it many ways. You can go on the Citadel app, which is available for Android and iOS, for suggestions. It's a good app, I think, but I'll show you how I do it. So the paints you will need: I use Mephiston Red for my layer. I know it says air, that's because I've run out of the regular and I've had to pinch one of these for my air paints for my airbrush. But you can, it's the same thing but just a bit thinner. So that is my base paint. Then Evil Sun Scarlet is my layer. So that is the final coat that I put on, is Evil Suns, and I will grab a model just to show you that. So the shoulder pad, the weapon, it's that recipe, Evil Suns. Now highlighting is a tad bit more it's not complex, but I used quite a few different paints. So my first paint to highlight is Wild Rider Red. So this is my go-to everything highlight paint. So on this model, every area that I think would be highlighted, edges, I would use this. This is my primary edge highlighting paint. Then I'll add some Troll Slayer Orange. The pot, I've had this for a while. Now this goes on more extreme edges, so maybe up here, that area there, here. So that would be extreme. And then even extreme of the extreme is Fire Dragon Bright. So that would be even more a little bit, tiny bits to just bring up that colour, make the model pop, as they say. So I'm going to actually do, I'll try and do a little bit on camera. So this model on screen is more red than what it actually is, just so you know. So I will try. So I use super thin brushes. So my main brush is the Winsor & Newton Series 7. This is the 000 miniature. It's quite a small brush, but that's because I like small brushes, obviously for edge highlighting. So hopefully that is visible, and I will try not to go off screen, but I'm still building up my channel. So I don't think it shows up amazingly well, but it is on there. So that would be the primary. So I would put this on all edges. So I put it on here, and of course, if it doesn't have to be super neat. I often get it a bit wrong, and then I tidy it up in the layer paint, or sometimes you can just push it off your finger if it's quite dry. So yeah, and then alright, so I would do this part. So I do realise, and everyone will realise, that I will go over my highlights many times with the different colours. So that's this area, any flat edges, round parts like this, the head is round, it's a lot harder to do. I would use a dry brush to do that, which I will do in another video, because that I think would take a separate video to discuss. Yeah, the knee pad, the knee section is a fantastic place to edge highlight. I have to remember where I focused the camera. Yeah, you get the idea. And then I use the Troll Slayer Orange, give it a good shake, open it up. I think this one might want to close on itself. What I use is bits of sprue I cut off and then I wedge it in. Some pots just will shut, they don't want to behave. So I would treat that part here as an extreme you know, corner or edge. So I would just put on the Troll Slayer Orange on these parts. I mean, you could you know, miss out Wild Rider and go just with the oranges, or you know, there are many other colour options that you can go for. But this is just my recipe. This is my 4 years of painting recipe. So that you can see that does bring out the edges. You know, really makes the model sing, in my opinion. And this is such a neat model. This model has it can have an axe and a shield. It can have a couple of types of guns, but I think the swords are just really badass, cool. I like that. I like them. So there you go. I do sometimes, you know, you can go over the areas again if you want to. I do sometimes to tidy up that where I've painted before, or you know, or just if I'm not happy. Now this paint here, the which one is it? Fire Dragon Bright, would be on the very corner. So the idea is, instead of going all the way down this part, I'd only go sort of partly down, so as to you know, really bring out the very tip of an edge. This does work again for round parts of a model, but yeah, that's something you definitely would dry brush. And then obviously this would be perfect for knee pads. And how, you know, you can put it on quite thick, you can put it on quite thin. I used to put my edge highlights on very thin, and then I've saw some people online do it quite a little bit more chunky, and I'm kind of very keen on that because I like it. But it's all personal preference, and obviously, you know, you have to be aware of a light source shining on these models and where it would kind of ping off a little bit. But that's how I would do that. So just to recap, so these are all Citadel paints, so Mephiston red, ignore the air, Evil Sun's Scarlet, which is the layer paint, then Wild Rider red is my primary edge highlight paint, Troll Slayer orange is my secondary extreme edge highlight paint, and then Fire Dragon Bright is my extreme extra highlight. So these are my colours. You don't have to go via these, but it's just my suggestion. I'm using my own experience. You can make things a little bit more different. This model is a contrast, so I have used the Blood Angels red. It needs a good shake. I would typically put on more than one coat. Again, I can pull this model out. The cloak here is contrast, so I put about 6 coats, I think, and then I dry brushed with some of these paints. So it works on contrast as well as just normal paint. I think it works. It works good on both, but it's it's your own personal take on how you do that. So that is my video. I hope you guys have found that helpful. Please leave some information in the comments. What do you think about the channel? Any improvements? Anything that you'd like to see? There's links in the description to my other social media platforms, and there's a link to Patreon. So if you feel like you'd like to support the channel, that'd be great. That's all in the description, and that's all for today, and I will catch you lot on the next video.